It's official. The UK and Ireland's bid to host Euro 2028 has been formally approved by UEFA. It has been announced in the last few moments. 10 stadia across the 5 nations will host the matches in 5 years' time. Analysts projecting a €3 billion boost to host nation economies on the back of the tournament. The bid was unopposed after Turkey withdrew to focus on a joint bid for the 2032 finals alongside Italy, and it was given the official seal of approval by UEFA's Executive Committee on Tuesday morning. Yes, Wembley hosted the final in 2021, the delayed tournament. It was a very different tournament. It was spread across 11 countries in 2021. It was supposed to be scheduled for 2020. As a result of the pandemic, it was delayed by a year. It's the first time that the UK and Ireland have bid to host a tournament together. It's the first time that a tournament will be on these shores in its entirety since 1996. So there it is. The UK and Ireland's bid to host Euro 2028 has been formally approved. We were expecting this announcement this morning, and it's great news, isn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic news. I think it's been a long time in coming. Euro 96 was one of my favourite tournaments. I think we have the infrastructure, we have the state-of-the-art stadiums to put on a really good tournament. Obviously, there would be some concerns after what happened at the Euros final. You'd like to think that UEFA and the authorities will make sure there's no repeat of that. But it's going to be brilliant. It's going to be a fabulous summer of football. And I like the idea of it being spread across the UK, obviously not just held in England. The 10 stadiums, a reminder, will be Wembley, the Principality Stadium in Cardiff, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which is obviously a brilliant venue, the Etihad, Everton's new stadium, assuming that gets built in time, St James's Park up in Newcastle, Villa Park, which was one of the host venues for Euro 96 as well, Hampden Park in Glasgow, the Aviva Stadium Dublin, and Casement Park in Belfast as well.
Casement Park hasn't been built yet.
And nor was the Everton Stadium.
The Everton Stadium hasn't been finished. And actually, Villa Park is listed as a host stadium on the basis that it's got a 52,000 capacity. That isn't the case at this moment in time. And they have already got planning permission to increase that. They've got quite an ambitious project at Aston Villa in order to try and make that a brilliant sort of entertainment venue, not only by redoing, I think it's the North Stand and wrapping it into the Trinity Stand, but also by building a new bespoke fan zone next to the stadium as well. But the idea of it going all up and down the country and brilliant. The whole country being, the whole of the British Isles and Ireland being the centre point of the summer, it'd be superb. 24 teams. The idea being that 5 teams obviously are hosting it. 5 countries are hosting it. 2 places will be reserved for hosts in the tournament. England is saying they'll turn one of those down. What we think will happen is that 3 teams will attempt to qualify automatically, and then the ones that don't get through, hopefully there'll only be 2 of those, and they'll get in anyway. So, I mean, hopefully everyone gets there. I suppose that's the key thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it'd be a shame for Northern Ireland, for example. You probably think of the most vulnerable to not qualifying. If they get a home tournament and they're not part of it, that would be an issue. But as you say, yeah, there's a stopgap for nations like that. If they don't qualify via the group stage, then they will get in automatically. But if 3 teams don't qualify from the group stage, then one of those would miss out. So hopefully that doesn't happen and all 5 qualify. England are going to qualify, aren't they? I mean, it's not that magnanimous of the FA to say, we'll qualify through the proper channels, because they almost always qualify, and when they don't, it's an absolute disaster. And I can see the sense as well from the FA that they want England to be playing competitive games in the lead up to that tournament, because if you go back to Euro 96, they weren't necessarily in the best form. They had to feel their way into that tournament because they hadn't been playing competitive games.
If you look at it closer to home, look at Germany. You don't want to go into a tournament undercooked. Qualification is easier than ever before because of the number of teams that get to the final tournament. The risk is small, the reward great, I think, that gets them tuned up in time for the European Championships. They'll hope to qualify, and so will Scotland, so will Ireland, so will Wales and Northern Ireland as well. It should be an historic tournament on these shores. UK and Ireland are confirmed as the Euro 2028 hosts. Obviously, there was a lot of discussion about bidding for 2030 in the World Cup, but once it became apparent that UEFA were going to favour a bid for Spain and Morocco, and FIFA were thinking of doing something more expansive, as we've already told you in a couple last week about the South America games in that particular tournament. The UK and Ireland then decided to turn their attention to this huge bid for 2028. That's now been officially ratified today, so there will be a full European Championships on these shores in just 5 years' time.